All right, here we are. David Maida presents the legendary Lukather. Luke, how are you? Good to see you.
Legendary. Come on, man. I'm still here. I guess that's what that means. What's up,
Here,
my friend?
it's good to see you, man. You look great, man. I know it's been a very busy year for you, and it's going to be another busy year for you next year in 2024.
I never really envisioned that, like, as I got older, like I'd be busier than I was when I was, 19. But it seems to be in a different way. I mean, I was in the studios when I was young, and that was every day. But the road is just now where we go to, that's where we make a living.
Sure,
Good thing
sure.
I like it. Otherwise, it'd be a bummer.
I think you like it, and like I said, it's about to start. You know, the Big Dogs of Oz tour is going on, right? It starts at David Page Presents, right? Toto Dogs of Oz.
David Page always presents. It should say
Yeah,
David Page and Jeff Pagaro, but then
Jeff.
I'd get in trouble for doing that. But that's essentially what it is. It was Dave and Jeff's band to start with, and I'm just holding the reins, man. I'm trying to keep the music alive.
You and Joseph are doing a great job, and like I said, the tour starts. You have the Journey 50th continuing, right, with very special guest Toto, obviously, and then there's some headlining dates, right, in between
Yeah,
those.
well, those guys only work a few days a week, because of the wear and tear on the voice. But for us, I mean, I don't like sitting around. I want to work, I want to play. Plus, we can play our longer shows and stuff like that. So, you know, when we go overseas, we're the headliner, you know what I mean, at all times. Or either on our own or it's a headline. We're headlining festivals and whatnot. But the journey thing has been really positive. It's been a really great experience for us. I love Neil, John, and all the guys. Arnell. I mean, Dean, Todd, all the guys. Great cats, man.
Sure.
And we have a nice rapport with each other. It's a great night of music, and they treat us great. And we play, it's been a great package. I mean, we're doing sellout business in the big arenas, which is rare these days.
Yeah, I mean, I
I mean,
saw it three
and
times.
they made us a big part of that. And then we weren't going to do it, and then all of a sudden they made us an offer we couldn't refuse. And, they took care of us, and I really appreciate it. Thank you guys in Journeyland. You're my friends and brothers.
It's a
Uh,
great combination. It's a great show. Two great artists, obviously, and so many hits for both. But the musicianship, obviously, but
we're doing a lot of secondary markets this time out. And we've been, like
yeah,
as we it's like the third time we've gone out with these guys. And like I said, it's a package that's working. But then we got so much of our own stuff too going on for the rest of the year and into 25 already.
wow, wow. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing one of the headlining shows at the infamous Count Basie Theater in Red
Yeah,
Bank,
that's a fun place.
February 20th. But geez, I mean, the tour. Talk about holy grail of guitar players on the same night with you and Sean. That's a winning combination.
Well,
When
Neil's one of the best guitar players ever, man. I mean, he's got such a beautiful touch, a beautiful feel, and a great, he's just Neil, man. Beautiful melodic player and wicked ass chops, and we've been friends for 100 years. And it's a
yeah,
lot of fun. You know what I mean? We both dig each other and respect each other, and a lot of love in the room there.
sure, sure. And you, again, we won't get into, there's so many great guitar players through
Oh,
decades,
please.
but you fit into that category of top leads, right?
You know what? I mean, people are giving. I mean, I appreciate the saying that, man. But I've been doing this a long time, and there's some of the kids today that playing, man, are so badass. It's scary. I'm just like, wow. I'm glad I'm the old guy. You know what I mean? I wouldn't want to have to be in the younger competition. After all the years I put in now, um, people have been real nice to me.
Yeah, there are some great new guitar players that are popping up, which is great. And then also away from that, so you tell us a little bit about the new Ernie Ball Music Man, the limited edition, right? The Luke 4 guitar. There was only like
Oh
150 in
wow.
it. You know,
Yeah, man, we're just coming out with it, man. The thing about this, it's a 30th anniversary. I've had a 30-year relationship with Ernie Ball music. Well, I've been using Ernie Ball strings since I was a little kid,
sure.
uh, as far as being actively involved and having a signature guitar out, it's been 30 years, man, which is hard to believe. But I love the guitars. I mean, I would not play them. I mean, you don't see me playing anything else. I always play the Music Man.
Yeah.
I still have I gave my old Les Paul to my son Trev, but he can't sell it. If he does, he's got to split the money with his three other brothers and sisters. Um, but in terms of and he's got, I got some old guitars and stuff like that that I love, but I haven't played them for a while because the Music Man has just given me everything I need. And we're actually selling a bunch of them, and it was done really, really well worldwide. So I'm
Yeah.
very flattered to everybody who likes the guitar has been playing it. I've even seen some pros playing. Tim Pierce was playing it in a video, which I was terribly flattered. And he's one incredible musician, a great pal. And there's people using the guitar now. Always never. I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. Um, and they make great stuff. Otherwise, like I said, I wouldn't be playing it and really endorsing it with all I got if I didn't really love the guitars.
Yeah.
And
Again,
they're getting better and better. The
yes.
new version they have they talked to me, they were like, can we try winding some pickups for you? We want to give it a go. So I said, sure, man. There was something to do with the overall cost of the guitar being able to come down and more. I don't know. I just kind of let them lead, and I just go, yeah, and they usually hit it right the mark right away. You know what I mean? Because of the relationship, they know what I like, know what I want. And I'm also open to their fresh ideas. We put Floyd Rose back on one, which was fun to goof around with again. It's a totally different feel.
Yeah.
So there's
Yeah.
options with the humbuckers or just single coils. I mean, that you can customize it, and the great looking colors and stuff. Um, but yeah, I love these guys, the best.
Yeah. No, that's it. You still have the Bogners going, obviously.
It's funny, Reinhold and Bogner and I don't see each other very much, but I've been exclusively playing his amps for what, about 13 years now, or something like that, 12 years. I love the amps, and he's been great to me, and they're workhorses, and they're just love the way they sound, and it's really dependable and sturdy, and they sound like I said, I can get anything I need out of that. And
Yeah.
he's very gracious with me, and thank you, Reinhold.
Yeah. I mean, the tone live with Toto. I mean, obviously, your guitar tone is massive, and you have a great engineer with
Ken Freeman rocks. Ken
Ken
Freeman
Freeman
is
is the man.
president.
He's the man. Ken's great.
He's high five, man.
Yeah, and I suppose you'll be going back out away from the Toto dates. There'll be some more Ringo dates, maybe.
Yeah, believe it or not, I just got a little bit of a schedule, man. My year is insane. I mean, I sometimes only have like 3 or 4 days off in between tours. But I really want to do it. I mean, I love Ringo so much, and it's such a great honor for me. And we've become such close friends over the last, it's going on 12 years now, man. Unbelievable to me.
Yeah.
And I love the man. I mean, he's a friend, neighbor. We hang out, and you have these pinch me moments sometimes. Like I was listening to Now and Then, you know what I mean? I'm
Ah,
really
yes.
clear in my, all of a sudden I get a FaceTime from Ringo. It's like my life has become now surreal.
Right.
And so I was thrilled, and I'm so happy because he's excited about it all. I mean, I think it's anybody's a naysayer about that. It's just crazy. Come on, guys. I mean, the Beatles at their worst are still better than 99% of the stuff out there. And to have that feeling, and it has such a beautiful feeling to the song. I mean, they use the word AI, and it's like that's not really, if you want to get technical, AI started long, 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 long time ago. Like, how about the Lindrum?
Ah,
That's
Lynn, I
there.
haven't heard that one in a while.
Drummers did that put out of business. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
And I mean, you go back, and then sequencers came in, and then bass players were out of work.
Yeah.
So there's nothing new. And during 1980, I saw the first. We were at Roger Lynn's apartment, me, Steve, and Jeff Picaro, and the first time he turned the thing on, it went boom, spank, boom, boom, spank. And Jeff got off the couch and goes, "We got to destroy this thing." Steve was completely blown away. That's exactly his answer to everything. Was like, "Oh, give me a drum machine." And then it became the sound of the '80s, which I love Roger. He's a guitar player and an engineer, sweetheart of a guy, genius kind of guy.
Sure.
But changed the whole course of music, and some of the '80s stuff hasn't aged as well as some of the other stuff.
Right. Again, so it's
Synth, synth pop thing, you know, it was such the rage at that time, you know. So was the mullet. So I mean, look at me, you know, right? You think I make my hair look like this?
I have my hat as a mullet, so those days are done for me. But it's rock and roll. Like, and speaking of the '80s, I mean, your career as a session player, I mean, everyone knows. I mean, I'm sure most have picked up the Gospel according to Luke. So if you haven't, please, get that book. I've read through it like 3 times, and it's just an amazing, you know.
Man, I couldn't sleep.
But the '80s. I mean, the tracks that you played on are just always like a connect the dot type of thing to me. That's the way I look at it. Like from the first Toto, I mean, Toto formed in what, '77? The first one came out in '78, right? So like I gravitated, and this is interview is not about me, but I gravitated to the first album as soon as I heard it. And I have my favorites through the entire career, with Toto, but then you're all these songs that were out there charting up on the radio at the time. They were like all these hits were primarily you on a lot of these 80, and
Yeah,
same with
I
other members
mean,
of Toto, Steve, Jeff, David,
Jeff,
obviously.
Jeff and I in particular were on a lot of stuff together. You know what I mean? Back in the day,
Yeah.
he was more into writing and producing at that point. He'd play on some sessions, like Boss Gags and stuff like that. That was fun, and we were all involved in all that. You know, those were great times and great records. And yeah, but we were on a lot of stuff. I mean, I forget, I mean, I don't look at my credits. I don't listen to my music at all. Once I make a record, like say my last solo record, I worked really hard on it and I listened to it a whole bunch after it was done. And I haven't listened to it in a long time now,
Yeah, I
Once,
remember
I'll go putting the live show together for 24 and I did another leg with Ringo. So my head's all over the place.
okay. Okay. Yeah, I recall one time we were on a plane and I remember saying,
Here's, here's my
yeah,
non-alcoholic beer here, guys. Sorry.
H2O. We were on a plane together once and I said, oh, one of the solos that you played really it barked at me, and it was a song called Living in the Limelight by Peter Cetera.
Oh my gosh, that's a deep cut.
Yeah, it's a very
I
deep.
remember that. That's how I met Greg Ladani, and that's how I started to get in with, I knew all the section guys, the immediate family guys were all dear friends of mine.
Sure.
Since I was a teenager, still 19, I met Danny and Waddy and Russ and all those guys and Lee Sklar. So the four of those guys, it's just, we've had so many laughs, and so I learned so much from them.
Yeah, well,
But
that record was the starting point for Foster to segue into Chicago 16, which hard to say. I'm sorry, love me tomorrow. Those,
you know, somebody told me they didn't mention me in their new they did their story of, or what do you call it, documentary.
really, I'm
So
off.
somebody
I'll,
told me they didn't mention it.
I'll mention it because
I did the comeback album with Foster. I don't think they're very enamored with Dave at this point, though. Dave
that
made him roots, though.
that 16, was a comeback for them, and you were such an integral part of
I'm
it.
not a part of the politics. I loved the first Chicago album. I loved them all the way up, and then when I got a chance to work with them, I was thrilled, and they were very nice to me. And I got nothing but good things to say. If
Okay.
they hated the '80s period, well, it wasn't my fault. I didn't write the songs. I did write a couple songs with those guys during that era.
Okay.
But, Jimmy Pankow played on our records and has done arrangements. And so there's I have a lot of I have a lot of love for those guys.
Okay. And then some of the tracks, which the popular ones, most people know that Keep Forgetting by Michael McDonald, Run with the Night, Beat It, Break Down That Head, Talk to You Later, Dirty Laundry, Voices, Turn Your Love Around, Physical. Oh my God, Forever Man, Stand Back. I mean, I can go on and on. The list goes like keeps. It's a connect the dots. Like I said, who is that guy? Steve Lukather.
Great times, man. I mean, those being a session, being a big session guy, man, that was a dream.
Sure.
And to be in a band was, I mean, I had the best of. Thank you very much, God, I'm grateful.
Yeah. Again, getting back away from session stuff, when you go listen to those first, couple Toto releases, was you guys were doing all these sessions with other artists, but then that was your band. I mean, it was you, Paige, Jeff, Steve, Bobby at that time, but and then
Okay.
Toto came, yeah, right. Those records were amazing. I mean, Toto 4, obviously, with all the Grammys that you guys took when that came out, was that
Oh,
to this day holds the test of time.
It's so weird. Like I said, getting older, you look back at this stuff like it was was that really me?
Sure.
Did that really happen to me? Because I don't dwell on it. I mean, I don't sit around and wallow in myself. You know what I mean? I'm just not. I'm looking forward. Although there's a lot of great stuff to be. That I was very honored to be a part of some legendary albums with incredible best of the best artists in all styles. I mean,
Yeah.
no, no other rock band ever did that and had a multi-platinum success and still doing it damn near 50 years later. But I mean, we're like forbidden archaeology. If they don't talk about it, they don't have to explain it.
Right. This is true.
But listen, I'm knock wood, thank you, God, Lord Jesus. I mean it, no joke. I mean, thank you for this unbelievable long career, and it's going strong. So, and to get we haven't had a second act, this is our third act. We get to do this again. And we have a younger audience now, and there's no stigma attached like the old days, or it's not cool to like us or mention our name or anything. There's still a few bleeding heart hipsters out there, but they were never going to like us anyway. I'm not saying you got to like us, but we got kind of slagged off rather unfairly and very stringently.
Right.
So now we laugh at it. We go, well, you didn't kill us, man. You know what I mean? You tried, but you didn't.
The difference is you guys are so big now in America again, but you always have had a massive career around the world. See that, so that surpasses things between Asia and Europe and South America. Like, you know, that you guys were loved around the world
Europe,
by the
Europe,
masses.
Europe and Asia and other countries around the world kept us alive at a time when our record company ceased to exist for us, even though we were signed to them. It was a
Yeah,
very difficult period of time for us because we were fighting, running up a hill like this. And we still managed to hang in there. And we've had so many tragedies in our band, you know what I mean? Losses, tremendous, the unfathomable losses.
sure, sure.
I, and some of them, Jeff is going on 31 years. It's insane.
Yeah, that's
Fathom that much time passing, and this is it's some surreal bad dream. And then Mike's suffering. That was hard to watch, man. I mean, that was really,
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, I grew up with these guys. They were my heroes. I mean, regardless of any nonsense blatherings online from people who want to start shit, we came up as brothers, man. I love those cats. I owe them so much. I'll
Yeah,
never forget that. I haven't forgotten that.
no, and you do have all those recordings that go on forever, and that's holds the test of time there with that. I mean, but currently, obviously, the Dogs of Oz, obviously, Paige is playing intermittently, and you have Warren Ham.
Dave comes out when he can. See, Dave medically can't get on the bus or he can't travel night by night. He's got medical issues that I don't want to get into. It's none of my business to say. He's fine. He's doing great. He's very relaxed. He's healthy. He's fine. But he had some issues that caused him. What the doc said, you're done touring, bud. You can go out and play with the guys on the weekends once in a great while, but so he's happy. He's downshifted into enjoying the back nine of life. But
Yeah,
but at the same time, I've just spent the whole week with him working on vocals and songs that were new old songs we're adding to the set list. And he's going to come out and play with us, and he's helping with the keyboards and the players that we got.
yeah.
There's some changes coming for next year.
Okay, for 2024, different players will be.
There's a couple of new surprises. One old surprise coming back, and then
Wow, don't tell me. I'm
then a wild card. But I mean, listen, the other guys, they have their own band. They want to do their own thing. They're young cats. They wanted to get out there and do it. And God
yeah,
bless them. So
yeah,
we had that little version, but now we're going back to the basics. We're getting back to the. Everybody's gonna be real happy when they figure out what's going on.
that
But I
you've
don't know.
always
I've said too much too soon. So
no. You've always
everybody's going to be happy because we're going back more towards the original recorded sound as opposed to let's rearrange everything and make it funky or jazzy or whatever. It was a nice phase to go through. It was fun to play with those cats, but wanted to get back into being a rock and roll band and
wow, that's
playing
yeah,
like that. You know what I mean? It's just a different flavor, man. I like all the flavors. There's a different. more back to the egg as opposed to.
Yeah, you know what? You've always, and I've said this to you countless times, you always reinvent the wheel with a lot with the players. Obviously,
Oh, I'm sure everybody's there'll be people giving me shit. What are you doing,
no,
Lukather?
no. Can't please
Fuck
everyone.
you, man, asshole. Guys, I'm keeping the music alive.
That's
If I
right.
don't do it, who's gonna do it?
Yeah,
A tribute band, there's some great tribute bands. I'm very flattered they're out there. God bless you.
yeah. So
We ain't chasing them down, suing them, telling them not to do it or asking for money. I'm
sure,
very flattered if anybody want to play our music. Thank you. Some of you guys are incredible out there with what I heard.
love it. And,
But
and,
you know what I'm saying? It's not like that. It's not if like look if you look at our numbers, the Spotify numbers are insane for the last 8 years, and that's just the last 8 years. So 3.5 billion people are listening to our music, and it's not all Africa, although that's 1 billion of it. But if you count up all the YouTube, it's like 5 billion streams on all formats, and then almost 45 million records, hard records sold, and it's all the demographic is younger, and the numbers per month are like it's just somebody told me it was like almost 2 million a day or something. And that's not bad for a bunch of guys that don't get a lot of press. And we worked hard to keep this thing alive. And what's helped is the younger people that discovered Africa found out we had a whole bunch of other music, and I can see the sales. You can see what their people are starting to listen to, and it's really cool, man. I'm really flattered. I'm surprised, but in a really great way.
again, I'm seeing more and more, great musicianship out there, and you guys fall into that category. So this is great. And we want. By the way, we want to mention that you had Bridges come out on the Mascot label in June of 2023 this year. Just a
Man,
great solo release, another great one.
thanks, man. I mean, we just had a lot of fun doing the Shameless 80s record. You know what I mean? So I called Dave and Joe. We wrote and recorded the whole thing. Had a few other guests come in and brought back Shannon Forrest and Simon Phillips and Sklar's on it, Jurgen Carlson, Steve Majora, everybody, and it was just a lot of fun to do. We did it pretty quick, and boom, it came out, and people seemed to like it.
Yeah, it was a great.
Scratch the creative itch, and then go out and play the hits, and we're happy to do it.
Yeah, that's again, like I said, I can't thank you enough for doing this, and and I want to wish you continued success for all of the remainder of this year into 20.
We've been friends a long time,
Oh my
David. I
gosh.
love your ass, you know that.
One of these, I have so many great, back in the day when I was doing my journalism stuff, I have so many vaulted interviews that, that we've done that, I'm gonna one of these days put them up, and I have some.
Why? You have to ask the question, why?
They're good though. They're very informative.
Keep blathering on and on about something.
Well, you did mention that you're one individual that likes to move forward in life, and you've done that. So I'm with you 110 on that.
And I'm trying to let go of negativity and stuff like that. Sometimes it finds me, and I'm very sensitive to it, and then I get angry about it, and it's stupid.
Yeah, you're
Right now, I'm just trying to be peace and love my way through life.
you're doing a great job, and like I said, we want everyone to,
I'm trying. I don't know. Ask me in a year.
well, please everyone go out and see the Toto Dogs of Oz tour, the Journey, special guest with Toto, and then there's headlining dates, there's Ringo dates, there's some surprises coming up next year. So we want everyone to go out and see it. And trust me, I've been saying this for years. When you see the
Who
band,
knows, man? You better look under the bed before you turn the lights off at night. I might be there.
surprise, right? Yeah, okay.
Don't throw your used condoms under the bed.
I love you, Luke, man. Thank you so much, man.
On that note, all right, man. I'll see you later, brother. Later.
Peace.